Hi, I'm Sandro and I've been living inside this tiny mobile electric home for the last 3 months and it has not been as I expected to be. Today I want to tell you guys why I decided to do this, how I'm living in my Tesla, what you need to get started yourself, and things I've learned along the way so you don't make these mistakes, especially when keeping costs down. But before I dive in guys, if there's any places that you think I should go visit, leave a comment down below and I might put it on my list. So let's talk why. Why did I decide to do this now? Okay, well honestly, it was the internet. So a few years ago, I stumbled upon this TED Talk, which I've linked down below in the description. It talked about that traveling has this connotation of being really expensive, that you have to spend a lot of money to go travel and see the world. But this guy was traveling the world basically for free. And he covered his expenses while he moved from place to place. And the three main expenses when it comes to traveling are accommodation, transportation, and food. And he basically said are expenses that you can basically reduce if you do it the right way. That's why my Tesla is basically my transportation from point A to point B. It's also my accommodation as I camp and live out in my car. The only cost that is kind of variable is food. These two costs you can actually minimize if you do it in a smart way. Secondly, I stumbled upon this channel called Living Tesla by Jimmy, who I recently met in Canada. And he's been living in his Tesla for about a year or so. And you know, van life and camping your car is nothing new. I've met people on the road who've been doing it for years. That's pretty awesome. And I was like, I can do that too. And I wanted to shift in careers. I was a professional footballer for 5 years or so, which meant that I was traveling and catching a ball for a living. I was a goalkeeper, which is exciting. But on the other hand, I wanted to see what else was out there for me, and that's why I decided to retire and live a life of adventure. So I'm gonna first of all apologize for the road noise. Let's dive right into the front. Let me show you guys what my setup is in here. So this is basically my gym equipment, my shoes, my jumping rope, my exercise equipment, my hiking boots. Right, I got my cleaning equipment to keep the car looking nice and shiny for the most part. It looks very clean today. This is my dishwash kind of stuff where I have my sponge, right? This is how I keep my dishes clean. This is a very dirty rack, but it actually serves a purpose because this is where I keep my propane, my little stove, as you can see. But I gotta make sure that this piece doesn't hit the top of that, which has happened. That's why I keep just a rag on top of it to give it a little bit of a cushion. Yep, I got a first aid kit as well right here. My grocery bag. Go right here. So this is the driver's side. I like to keep it decently clean, you know, for the most part. I have my bear spray, my one spoon that I have. I think I just need one. So I have a lighter for my stove. So here I have some winter equipment, some gloves, a scarf. That's my foam roller, my PVC pipe. This is basically the back seat. Like you couldn't really tell that I'm living in my Tesla because every night what I usually do, once I set up the privacy screens, I put the settings into wild bill, right? So which pushes the driver's seat forward, and then I just unhinge this, and then I fold these out. And basically right here, I have my mattress, right? And then I put my backpacks that are in the back, I put them right there. And then I basically set up my privacy screen all around. And then I go to bed. But like you couldn't really tell that I'm sleeping in my Tesla from just looking into the car. So I have my camera bag right here. I have my drone, my other camera. This is my dirty clothes, dirty laundry. Then I have my gym bag, my hiking bag as well, pillows, my sleeping bag is under there. I got this really nice vacuum as well, just to keep the house nice and clean. And then basically the last thing that I really have inside my Tesla is I have a fridge. So I recently got this. The reason why was, so I used to travel a lot, and previously on a lot of my videos, I was traveling, but my food would go rotten in no time. So that was kind of frustrating. So I couldn't really have any fresh fruit or vegetables in my car because they would basically rot within a day or two. So this fridge, let me show you guys what's inside there. Works with any 12 volts outlet, and I keep it on 24/7 basically. It has a safety built in just to make sure that it doesn't deplete all your battery. And yeah, it's a 15 liter. I could also do some ice cubes if I really wanted to, but I think that's a summer thing for now. I'll leave a link down below in the description with my gear list, so definitely go check that out if you want to go adventure. I have everything pretty much organized, what I carry with me all the time, and then go check that out. Let me show you guys one more thing. Passenger side. So right here I have like a little library. I'm reading this book by Wim Hof, the Wim Hof method, which is really interesting. I got a few other books. I got my 5-gallon jug. I think that is an essential, something I cannot live without. Like my sparkling sodas as well, easy to reach while I'm driving. Some more camera gear. That's basically how I'm living inside my Tesla. Everything that I have inside my car is what I own today. Before I left and departed beginning of October, I basically sold and gave all away my stuff, things that had no purpose. So what I mean with purpose is that if it doesn't serve a need, I don't have it. Okay, so what do you need to actually travel full time? Well, there's 3 things that I think you need. I think you need a mattress, something that really keeps you comfortable at night. Secondly is I think you need privacy screens, right? Some form of privacy that will keep people from the exterior be able to look inside your interior at night. And what I've noticed with the privacy screens that I have is that my interior cabin actually stays pretty cozy. Thirdly is a membership to a gym. So there's 2 options for nationwide memberships. It's either Planet Fitness or Anytime Fitness, and if you are in remote areas where these are not to be found, which is kind of rare, you can always shower at truck stops. My Black Card Planet Fitness subscription costs $25 a month, and it allows me to enter any Planet Fitness in the world. So before I talk about the lessons that I've learned, I have a little bonus tip. At night, what I do is once I found a spot to camp at night, I usually do not, when I'm in a city, turn on camping mode because camping mode does not have sentry mode. So instead, what I do is I keep climate on at night. It is important to turn off your Bluetooth on your phone because if you don't, somebody from the outside can still come into your Tesla. So don't make that mistake. Now, let's get back to the lessons that I've learned on the road. 1, don't speed. It sounds obvious, but don't speed. But it's difficult when you are in areas that you're unfamiliar with, as speeding zones can drastically change quickly. But this happened to me in Washington State. I know some states have photo-enforced red cameras, but Washington State has photo-enforced speeding zones, which means that if you're speeding in one of these zones and a couple miles over the speed limit, you're getting a ticket. And that's what happened. It was a lesson learned. It was about $100, which I think is actually not that bad considering I was going at 28 miles an hour in a 20 zone. So I like to wake up between 3 or 4 in the morning and drive. But something that I wouldn't call it a mistake in my opinion, but it's more like I would do it different, right? So driving through the day, right, staying places at night, I think that's the best thing to do. So instead of waking up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, I would wait for sunrise and then travel. Right? Because I think that's a better thing to do because then you're able to really see the landscape, what you're traveling through. So thirdly, budget. As simple as it is, know your expenses. I declare bankruptcy! I basically always have this rule of thumb, which is between wants and needs. And I'm not perfect either, but I've consciously made the effort to really not try to do impulse buys. For example, the 3 costs that I talked about before, which is accommodation, transportation, and food. The first 2 for me are fixed, so that's basically my car payment, right? And then food is a variable cost to some extent, between $300 to $400 a month, which I think is very reasonable. But going back to the transportation, I charge at a lot of places for free overnight. That's where I usually stealth camp. And I use the apps called PlugShare, which basically allows me to see different charging stations, different power outputs, level 1, level 2, level 3. But I usually camp at level 2s, so those are like between 6-7 kilowatt outlets. There's actually a lot of places that you could charge for free. So definitely take advantage of that if you can drive an EV. Alright, so let's talk about what's next. Where's my next destination? Honestly,
whatever you call it, I am running away from my responsibilities.
I'll be honest. I don't really have a set schedule. I basically go day to day. Some days I actually don't even travel. I might just read a book, go to a library, edit some video. This freedom is all about living full-time on the road, is that you're not tied to a set schedule. One, why now? Why did you decide to quit your career and go after this you could say unstableness. Honestly, that's for me, that's where the excitement comes in. You have to get creative to cover your expenses, how you travel. You know, I could settle for buying a house, you know, following the status quo, getting a partner, raising a family. I'm only 24, but usually around this age, people tend to lean towards that. For me, I like living the way I'm living right now. Sometimes it is a little uncomfortable, but for the most part, I'm happy. So that's why I'm not settling for anything less than I'm capable of living. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Don't forget to like, share this video with friends, subscribe, and leave a comment down below in the comment section about any places you recommend that I go see. I'll definitely put it on my list because I'm open for anything, any suggestions. In the meantime, don't forget to stay curious, stay adventurous, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers. Party, it's a freaking party. Let's go!